So the Leatherman Arc is finally here, and I have done a couple videos on this, and I wanted to do a comparison video on the Leatherman Surge and the Leatherman Arc. I want to look at 5 reasons why maybe you will still hang on to your Leatherman Surge rather than buy the Leatherman Arc for that purpose. So one of the first things why you might want to keep the Surge is because whether or not it's true, the Leatherman Surge will give the impression of being the sturdier tool. So Leatherman has said that these pliers are some of its sturdier pliers, but when you look at the Surge, it does give the impression of not only having thicker pliers, but beefier pliers, and they seem more robust. So I'm not saying they are, but they give that impression. So I think a lot of people will sort of buy into that the Surge is a beefier tool. You look at the handles, and whether they are or not, there's not a huge amount of difference, but it just seems like a more gigantic tool, and it gives a feeling of confidence. So again, when we compare this right here, it is definitely a larger tool, and that is something that is in favor of the Surge. So one of the next things I think we'll look at is how this is a cheaper alternative to the Arc as well. So the Arc comes in at $229, and then there's shipping and so forth. And the Surge comes in at $150. Now, obviously the Surge used to be a lot cheaper, but the recent price hikes have made it even more expensive, have bumped it up to that $150 mark, but still it is about $80 cheaper than the Leatherman Arc. So that will definitely play a part for some people as well. Also, I think some people thirdly will notice that the Leatherman Surge is that tried and true platform. It will remind them of the Wave. You've got just the implements that work. And a lot of people are just used to this system, and some people have still not bought into the Leatherman Free series, and perhaps they never will, and they're just used to Leatherman's the Surge tool set, this more Wave technology. And then I think fourthly, a lot of people still really like the Tshank Adapter. I'm one of those. I really do like the Tshank as well. So this right here is a scalpel. I modded to fit it. I put wire strippers in here. Of course, it comes with the file and saw that you can put in there. So there's all kinds of options that you can do with the Tshank, and it really makes it more of a modular multi-tool, which is really cool as well. So some people will also bring up perhaps that the scissors are larger. So let's go ahead and take a look at the scissors. Now, the Arc definitely has really good scissors, and I tried them out in, I think it was my first or my second video that I did on this. But when we look at the Leatherman Surge, again, the scissors, again, look a lot more gigantic as well. So that is something people will say, well, I'll just stick with my Leatherman Surge because the scissors are much bigger, and a lot of times they'll equate that to better as well. And then also no magnets. So I think that is a huge, maybe one of the biggest complaints. People who do not like the free system will say that the Surge is a work tool. It doesn't have magnets. If you carry the Arc into the workplace, those magnets will attract, and it will just foul up your tool, or you'll have to clean it a lot more. So a lot of people are really worried about that magnet. So I think that's a huge reason why a lot of people will perhaps want to stick with their Leatherman Surge. All right, so we've got some of the negatives out of the way. Let's look at some of the positives. Why would you pick the Leatherman Arc? Well, one of the reasons is because you have got the MagnaCut blade now, which is really cool as well. So this is one of those, one of the first times that Leatherman has really updated its game and added a better blade steel. And so I think a lot of people from the knife community are very excited about that, and from other places as well. They're just pretty excited to see Leatherman go into new territory, I guess you could say. So a lot of people will definitely applaud Leatherman for that as well. Now, the second thing I think is the smoother operation. So with the Leatherman Free, I definitely have to say it's just more of a fidget factor. It's just a lot more smoother, and you know, it catches a little bit there just because it needs to, but it is a lot smoother. Now, it's still not as smooth as the SOG pliers, but it is probably one of the smoothest Leathermans that you will find, the Free Series platform. So with the Surge, again, it is fairly smooth because I've used mine a lot. And so the more that you use your Leatherman, the smoother it becomes. But out of the box, they are fairly stiff, and then you have to open and close it probably hundreds of times before it begins to get a lot smoother. And so it will eventually, but then of course the implements, again, they work very well, but with the Free Series, you can just pop them up and there they are. Again, it's that very smooth operation. So a lot of people will like that. And that leads us to the third reason for the Arc is it's got all outside tools. So that is really cool as well. Not only do you have the knife, you've got the saw, you've got the diamond file and the three-sided file, you've got the scissors for the large tools, and then finally we've got a bit driver on a Free Series, and then we have this can opener as well, and then we have the micro driver, which is cool to see, and the awl with the wire stripping notch, and this pry tool and a bottle cap lifter as well. So all those on the Leatherman Arc, I think people will be excited about how it's so easy to access those tools. Now, one of the other things in the Arc's favor is that it is so much lighter than the Leatherman Surge. So not only is it a little bit smaller, but it is lighter as well. It comes in at 8.6 ounces or 243 grams. Leatherman Surge, again, is very heavy at 12.5 ounces or 354 grams. Again, it's not too heavy to carry, but it is a lot heavier. So some people will say, well, I think I'll go with the Arc. It's new and exciting, and it's a lot lighter. And also, I think not only is it new and exciting, which probably should be number 5, but it does have this hammer striking ability, and Leatherman has not built that into their Surge, even though, don't tell anyone, but sometimes I think I have used the side of my Leatherman Surge for a hammer. So, and then also some people might argue that with this screwdriver, again, that's more of a pry tool option, but I'm sure people who have carried the Leatherman Surge have found out ways to use their tools in here for prying as well. So you do have several tools, and with this right here, I'm sure that makes a good pry tool as well. So when it comes right down to it, it's definitely preference. I think price will go a long ways, and also for the Arc, a lot of people will be excited because it's new. So again, it's up to you. It's your decision. I think the Leatherman Arc is fantastic, but really I don't think Leatherman necessarily means for it to compete in the Surge's space. This is more of an everyday carry item, and this is more of a work tool, and I think it will probably stay that way for a while.